When you are the franchise, as you were for so long in Green Bay, what are your expectations? Like, what do you expect? How much input do you expect to have with the organization into decisions they make around things like coaching and that type of thing? What was your expectation?
I really didn't have any. You know, I had my you know, my views and stances and so on and so forth. But I really didn't expect Ron Wolf to ever come to me and say, "What do you think about this player? What do you think about this coach?" Mm-hmm. As I got older, you know, understandably so, I think we all, as we get older, we think we know more, and in some respects feel entitled to being heard. That doesn't necessarily mean that anyone needs to put anything into action. But I was in Green Bay for 16 years, and you know, other than maybe the last couple of years, in other words, I never had any input as far as coaches, players. That's not to say I didn't grumble or give my advice, mm-hmm. but my expectation level was to play and play only.
I get it. Brett Favre with me here on ESPN Radio. All right, let's get to these playoffs. The situation in Cleveland is a really tough one, and you would understand this better than almost anyone, what Baker Mayfield is dealing with. So he has had such a good year, and part of it seems to be this great chemistry and relationship he has with his play caller, Kevin Stefanski. More significantly than being the head coach, it's that relationship with the play caller. He will be without him on Sunday night. How do you expect that to impact him and the game?
Well, time will tell, Mike. You know, I've been thinking about this. You know, could Stefanski do it remotely? You know, we're talking about something that's never been done, to my knowledge.
Right. They're not going to let him, by the way. They looked into it. They're not going to let him. I understand exactly what you're saying. The league does not allow it, and they are not making an exception in this circumstance. I know where you're going. They're not going to let him.
Well, and then, you know, time will tell how it affects the offense and Baker in particular. But, you know, I'm sure that Kevin and whoever's going to be calling the plays and Baker are meeting virtually or whatever to try to come up with the next best solution.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I mean, again, this year is like nothing we've ever seen, and it just continues to grow bigger and bigger.
So when you were a young quarterback, again, you were there so long, but when you were young, making your first playoff appearance, which Baker is, like, how important is that voice in your head and the comfort level that you have with that person?
Extremely important. You know, it's not to say that you can't succeed, but without that voice, I'm just glad that I didn't have to go through it alone. I think our first playoff game, correct me if I'm wrong, was Detroit. And, you know, Mike Holmgren was tough on me, but he was a soothing, I hate to say soothing. I kind of laugh when I say that, but because he was not the most gentle person, but I needed that. Mm-hmm. I needed his voice and his discipline with me at all times. And not only that, I needed his knowledge from a play calling standpoint. So it's extremely important. And it's not to say that they can't succeed, but it's going to be interesting how that plays out.
Yep, that was 93 was your first playoff appearance as a Packer. Greeny and Brett Favre, presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who save with Progressive save over $750 on average. Well, let's talk about that building that you made your own for so long, Lambeau Field, and what it is like to have to go in there and try and win a game against a legendary quarterback. That was you, and now it's Aaron, and someone's going to have to try and do it. People will look at Brady at his age and Breeze at his age and think that will be a factor. How much of a factor do you think that the building, the cold weather, would be on those older quarterbacks if they wind up at Lambeau Field?
Well, I think more than anything, the elements will play a part in the victory, and not to mention how well Aaron is playing. It goes without saying, he's playing best football he's ever played, and he's made everyone around him so much better. Okay, that, you know, that's no secret. The elements, it's just the elements alone is going to make it so difficult for an opponent to come in. Look, whether you're 25 or 45, you assume it's going to be colder than hell and windy, and that's a factor. I don't care what you say. But Eli Manning and the Giants came in and beat us in harsh conditions, so it can be done. But I would say the odds, just in normal, if they played at a neutral field with great weather, the way Green Bay and Aaron are playing right now, they're going to be tough to beat. Now you throw the elements into it, and they're going to be extremely tough to beat.
The legendary Brett Favre with me on ESPN Radio. You know, I had just got off the TV show, and I had Ryan Clark and Bart Scott and Rob Ninkovich talking about how different these games are, that there's just a different level of intensity and intensity, I guess is the right word, when you get to the postseason. How would you describe it? How would you describe the way these playoff games are different than even big regular season games?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if I would go as far as to say there's a, intensity is greater and all that stuff, because what are you saying? That the regular season you only go 80%? But I get what they're saying. I think the big difference is that you win, you continue. If you lose, you're done. And with each week that you are able to win and advance, you're getting closer to maybe one of the biggest events in all of the world nowadays. Now, that being the Super Bowl. So the build-up and the pressure to go from week to week is certainly different than the regular season.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.